Brisket on a charcoal grill is not for the faint of heart. It's considered the Mount Everest of barbecue. Along my journey, I've read Smokin' by Myron Mixon, the winningest guy in barbecue, Aaron Franklin out of Texas, who is well known for his fine barbecue, Weber's Way to Grill, and finally, the one that comes closest to the recipe we'll be using today is Cook's Country, Texas barbecue. As you can see from this table, there are a variety of parameters that have to be watched carefully during this long cook, the least of which is not the meat. Start with USDA Prime. This one comes from Costco. It's Kirkland's brand. It's vacuum sealed, 16 pounds, and I'll age it for 30 days before I put it on the grill. All right, what you have here is a USDA Prime beef, and it comes full packer, so there's quite a bit of fat that's going to have to be removed. So that's the first thing we're going to get into, and we're going to try to leave about a ½ an inch on the cap just to protect the flat part of the brisket. So what we've done is season with equal parts of salt and pepper both sides, and now we're going to dry brine it overnight in the refrigerator. So you just put that on a sheet like so, and we'll cover it with some plastic and put it in the refrigerator. What you're looking at here is the elegant snake configuration of 2+2. So there's a layer of 2 charcoal, and on top of that's another layer of 2. It's important to use briquettes for consistency of the burn, and then you see some post oak that lights up during the burn to provide the smoke and flavor for the brisket. Sometimes you can get wide variations in the temperature during the burn. One way to offset that is to use heat sinks like an iron. This is an iron bowl, and this is a pizza stone, and this is boiling water. I'm starting off the burn with 10 briquettes. This helps reach the initial temperature of 275 and starts the snake burning around. This is an iron grate, which again provides more of a heat sink than you would have if you used a stainless steel grid. Alright, so we're getting ready to start the cook. We've got the brisket fat side down. That helps to protect the flat area, which is going to cook faster than the thick part. We have a sensor here for the temperature of the grill, and I've sunk a sensor for the meat all the way into the midsection deep to monitor for the first pull, which will be the aluminum foil crutch at 170 degrees. When you put the lid on, you want to put the lid on, you'll notice that the fat point we have between the open end of the snake. We're going to put the lid so that the vent opens just over the point. The vents are wide open right now. However, if the temperature exceeds 300 degrees, then we will close off the lower damper, maybe to half open, to make sure that stays under 300 degrees, plus or minus around 275 is where you want to be. And we won't take that lid off for a good 5-6 hours. As you can see, we're getting some good smoke. We're running around 250 to 300 degrees. Right now it's at 279. We've hit the stall at 155. When we reach 170, we'll pull it and wrap it. So we're about 6.5 hours into the cook. The lid has never been lifted. And you may have asked, well, how can you know where the snake is located? You can know by the feel of your hand around here. The snake right now is right here burning. It's cool over here, it's right here. So it's just about at the end of that first snake that we put in there. We're gonna add to it to extend the cook, but the meat temperature is 170 degrees. The grill is still at 273. We tried to hold it between 250 and 300 by adjusting the vents, top and bottom. I always keep this at least a half open or more, or full open, because you need to let the smoke get out. But the bottom you can almost bring to a close if you need to pull the temp down. So you can see we have a pretty good bark here, and what we're going to do is just about 6-8 inches of snake left. We'll add to that to keep it going. So what we've done here is relocate the brisket to double layer heavy duty aluminum foil, and we're going to spritz it a little bit. That's optional. Wrap it tightly, put it back on the grill. Spritzing's optional. This is white grape and peach with a little hint of champagne vinegar to give it a little tang. I know because of the way I wrapped it that the fat side is still down. We're going to continue to keep it down during the cook. Pushing in, make sure that's really snug. No gaps, no openings. But when we take it to the cooler to rest, we'll have the fat side up. We don't need any more wood for smoke now that it's been wrapped in aluminum foil. That should be plenty. Now is also a good time to get rid of some of the ash. I'm going to reinsert the thermometer. We can put some more aluminum foil in here to protect it from getting burned. Next stop, 205 degrees, and that's when we'll pull the brisket. We're going to leave the air opening right over the point, thickest part of the point. There we go. Everything's wide open, top and bottom, and it'll keep burning. Well, we just reached 205 degrees after 9 hours. Total cook time. This is the biggest brisket I've ever done on a charcoal grill at 16 pounds. We're going to now take it off, and we're going to put it in this cooler. I have a pan at the bottom to catch the juices and let it rest for another 2 hours. Now the fat side is still down. When I put it in the cooler, I'll flip it so that the fat side is up. Wait for 2 hours and then we'll cut it. All right, so now we've rested for 2 hours. I'm gonna pull the brisket out. What you're usually looking for is a real jiggle, and this one definitely has that. Looks really good. Wow, it's beautiful. It's just so juicy, I can barely cut it. How about that? It's just falling apart. Wow, is that good? I'm gonna turn the point, cut it in half. I'm gonna do some fatty cuts here. I mean, look at that. It's just falling apart. I can hardly cut it.